Good morning guys, and welcome back to another episode of Bareham Engines. If you haven't already guys, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you will be notified whenever we put up a video. Subscriptions are going up really fast now, so really happy with that. Cheers guys. Right everyone, so I've managed to find a gap in this horrible weather we've had this week, and it's actually quite warm today, which is a good thing because I've managed to strip out the 6-cylinder BMW M54 cylinder head, and I've actually given it a vapor blast. Paul and I were in sort of two minds whether to bother, because obviously many people in the comments have said that have used these vapor blasters, you know, you have to clean them thoroughly before and after really. But to be honest with you guys, looking at it now, it is well worth doing. We have managed to get the oil gallery plugs out and what have you. So it has come up really nice. The only thing I have noticed, and it may be because this engine was burning a lot of oil, so you found the exhaust ports in particular were coked right up. You can see the inlets, it's pretty much clean, and obviously in the combustion chambers underneath the cylinder head, if I just turn it over, you can see it's got it absolutely sparkling under there. It's like brand new, to be honest with you. But I have noticed in the exhaust ports it struggles to get that out, but it is very, very thick. I mean, that carbon is probably about 1 mil thick in places. So all I'm doing is I've put it out in the sun, I've let it dry. I think the secret to cleaning it, because if you have a look in those waterways still, look, there's loads of glass media in there. I think the secret is give it a blast out with the pressure washer, get most of the media out of it, and then let it dry. And what I'm doing is I'm soda blasting these exhaust ports just to clean the rest of the carbon out. And then once it's dry, I'm going to blow most of the stuff out, most of the glass media. I think that's the trick really. If you keep it wet, it seems to just stick in there. So yeah, I'm just going to sort of get the rest of that out, guys. I've done down the back of these ports. You can see they're pretty much clean now, but you can see there where that carbon is stuck, and that is really stubborn at the minute. So I'm just going to get in there from this way and see if we can get all that out. Right, so I've managed to get in those ports now, guys, and they're all pretty clean. All I'll do now is I'm going to give it a good blow through. I've just give it one blow through the other side, blow out all the little bolt holes, and then I'm going to give it a power wash, and then probably at the end of it I'll just run down here with a wire brush, just clean the outside of these seats up, and then that is all pretty much done. We've just got to cut the seats, cut the valves, put it together with new stem seals, and the head is all ready once we've re-skimmed it, obviously. But yeah, I think most of you guys were right with the vapor blaster. You do have to clean it out thoroughly, and if you can't get any of the oil gallery plugs out, don't even bother. Right guys, today's thumbnail and title. As you know by the title, this is an update on the Golf engine. So this is the one that we stripped. I'm not going to go into too much detail as to what we found, because I've done that in a previous video. But basically, the agreement, if we go back now, this has been going on for ages and ages, so you'll have to go back and watch the previous videos. But this customer, the engine was done 2.5 years ago, I can't remember now. And he said he'd done very little mileage in it, and he's getting very low, well, not very low, but he's getting low oil pressure, about 4 PSI down when it's hot on idle. So obviously been going on and on and on with emails and him coming in and discussing it and this, that, the other. We've agreed, although it is out of warranty, we have agreed that we are going to we'll have the engine back. We want it back in the state that he took it away, which was a bare tall engine, and we will persist in stripping that engine. We will inspect it with a fine-tooth comb, measure absolutely everything. If there's anything in the engine at all that could give a symptom of low oil pressure, then we will rectify the engine free of charge, and he can take it away, job done. If not, any time that is spent on that engine is going to have to be paid for. So that was the deal. Anyway, we have stripped it. as you see in the last video, we've checked it, we've double checked it, we've actually triple checked it. 3 of us, we've gone through all the measurements from the top of the cylinder head, like the hydraulic lifters, the camshaft. We've had a look at the oil galleries in the head and the block. We've checked the oil pump drive shaft bearings. We've checked the oil pump, all the dimensions. We've checked all the bearing clearances, the bearing thicknesses. We've checked the housings of the rods and the block. We've checked all the crank journal diameters, and then we've even dummy built it and plastic gauged the engine to get the clearances. Every single clearance, and even putting it in a video, you know, like I've said to you a million times before, half the reason we put these things in videos is so that we can get feedback off you guys in the comments. And there's a lot of guys out there that specialise in a specific subject that we're going on about, and they give some tips and good ideas. You know, we've had emails, we've had a couple of phone calls actually about the Golf. We've used all that, and we've gone back, checked everything that everyone says, and everything is in perfect order. So the gentleman that owns the engine got in touch with me via email. I did actually speak to him on the phone beginning of the week and said that our findings, or it may have been this time last week, said our findings, and he said, well, you know, he was all right on the phone. He said, well, I'll pop in the end of next week. Anyway, since then he's emailed me saying I'll come in Friday and we'll have a chat. Since that email, we've agreed that he's coming in today. Before he's come in, I've actually sent him an email just clarifying everything that's been checked and what tolerances they are and everything that is in manufacturer's spec, you know, what our findings are. And we've put in our conclusion. So that's a conclusion that we have, in our opinion, we have come up with. And so far what I've said is we conclude that everything in that engine is absolutely fine, as it should be, as I expected really, because obviously we built it once and we don't take anything to chance. And I said, obviously at this stage, if it's left like this and we agree that it's, you know, this is the conclusion, then obviously our time has got to be spent for. So far, we're going to do it at a discounted rate through Goodwill. So at the moment, realistically, we've probably spent 4.5 hours on it. I said I'll do it for 3 hours, £70 an hour. That's £210 plus the VAT to take the engine away as it is now. I said, you can, if you dispute our decision or our conclusion, you're more than welcome to get an independent engineer in here, or you can pay, take it away, get him to do it, whatever you want to do. If the overall conclusion comes that we agree that there's nothing wrong with the engine, then we can build the engine back up like he wanted. We will also do that at a discount rate at 7 hours extra, plus parts, which the parts, to be honest, gasket set, what else? Yeah, gasket set, seals and what have you, probably £100 plus a cam belt and that. So that was the deal. Anyway, he's come in this afternoon. First of all, he didn't look too happy because of the email that he got earlier. But surprisingly, he did turn up in the actual Golf, which I thought was odd. He's reversed in, put his bonnet up and come in. When we've gone out there, he sort of, we looked down under the bonnet and he said, I've put another engine in it. So what do you mean you put another engine in? Well, I've got a new engine. I'm not sure whether he built the engine up, didn't get involved with that, or whether he's bought the engine done. It was all nicely, freshly painted with all the bits on. He said that a lot of the bits on it were from off the old engine. And he said that he's got no oil pressure issue whatsoever with this engine. Although some of the sensors and the oil filter housing and that are still on this engine, so he's obviously, that's new. But he said he's got no, you know, he's got no issues. I said, well, that doesn't really tell me anything. I said, all I can go by, I'm not really interested. I'm a little bit surprised really that he bought another engine. All that says to me is that he bought this one in, he wanted us to check it, whether he sort of wanted his money back or he wanted an engine built up for nothing so he could sell that on. Obviously his plan, to me, it was obvious that his plan was to bring this engine in, and he was full intentions of getting another engine for this, or he already had one, I don't know. But I said, he said, do you want to go out in the car so I can prove that the oil pressure's better? I said, not really. That doesn't conclude anything. I said, all I'm interested in is what the dimensions are in that engine that we got involved with. I don't want to know anything external anymore. I don't want to know about this engine you've got in at all. That's all I'm interested in. I've come up with a conclusion. I said, I'm not trying to bullshit you or try to pull the wool over your eyes. I said, it doesn't make any difference to me. We're talking a few £100. I'd be more than happy if we found something wrong with it. I said, but we honestly have not. So my advice is to get an independent engineer in here to obviously match our conclusion. He didn't seem to want to do that. He then started getting a bit funny because he was surprised that I wanted to charge him for the time we'd spent on the engine for him to have his engine back. And I said, well, of course. I said, so far, I conclude that the engine is fine. There's nothing that's going to create a low oil pressure issue. I said, so yeah, for me at the moment, unless you can get an independent engineer in here to prove otherwise, I said, for me, the time needs to be paid for. I'm doing it at a discount rate. Well, how much is that? £210 plus the VAT. Oh God, you know, he basically wanted to take it away and discount all the time we'd spend on it already. And I'm not willing to do that. He then says, you know, he's very disappointed about the videos. He's disappointed in the way I portray myself on videos because it's just not reality and I'm just not truthful. And I said, well, that is your opinion. That is not the case. I said, the whole point of this channel really is to sort of tell things as they are, you know. I'm not trying to bull crap, you know, else I wouldn't tell you guys any mistakes that I make out there. I'm just telling you what is happening within our business, you know. It's like with this, I don't mention any names. Very rarely I even mention the vehicle or anything. So I'm not trying to, you know, stiff anyone over or anything. I said, I'm just telling you how it is. That's what we found. You know, and I've got to go through the correct steps. You know, I've been advised a lot by you guys in the comments. We're too soft. You need to stick to a regimented regime. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not interested in that new engine he's got in. I'm not interested in anything else on it. That doesn't prove to me anything. All I'm interested in is the work we've done and whether it is correct or it could be an issue with the engine that we did or the work that we did that could create the low oil pressure. So he came in again, he wanted to take some photos, he really wasn't happy. He said to me, how long can you keep the engine for before I pick it up? Because obviously this is going to go on. I'm not sure whether we're going to get court letters or wherever he's going to go with this. I said, you know, I will keep it for as long as it takes, really. I'll box it all up, stick it in a corner and see what happens. You know, I don't want things to go like this. I don't want to fall out with anyone, but it does just seem to me that he's been slightly unreasonable. He bought the engine in here with full intentions of putting another engine in the car. He bought it in here for us to check and get our opinion. And yet when we give him an opinion, he doesn't want to hear it unless it's going to cost him absolutely no money whatsoever. And he's going to get an engine back to sell or whatever he wants with it. But we're not doing it anymore. You know, we're sticking to the regime. That is what it's going to be. And yeah, I don't know, guys, just a bit of a funny one, really. He's sort of left without saying bye. So I'm assuming he's got the ump with us and we're just going to be lumbered with this engine here and not get paid for the time. So please feel free, as I always say, guys, let me know down in the comments what you think about it. But yeah, bit of a strange one, this. All I'm doing here, guys, is just blasting the hydraulic lifter carrier that goes in the back of the BMW head. I'm trying to do it one-handed, which is not easy, but as you can see, it makes it a little bit easier that you can hold the nozzle stationary in its holder and just sort of move the job around. It saves holding the job in the air or trying to battle with the nozzle, to be honest with you. So to be honest, all these carriers, they're just a little bit stained, so it's you can see how well it's brought it up. Still not easy with one hand, mind. Right, so So just giving the BMW a reface now, guys. As you can see, I've given it 1 3/1000 cut, and although this engine wasn't suffering with head gasket issues, because it's a 6-cylinder, it's your usual story really. You can see where the head is dipping down in the centre. It's cleaned both ends, but in the centre, and you can see there where the sort of firing has ate into the head really. So this thing was probably on the verge of almost giving head gasket symptoms, but I've just given it another 3/1000 now, and hopefully that should clean it up, and then this head is pretty much done. We should get the valves in it, stem seals, etc., and then it's over to Paul to assemble it really. All we're waiting for on the block, we've got the crank and rods in here. Look, you can see the cranks in there, rods, etc., with the pistons, new rings, but none of it has got bolts in. We're just waiting for the mains and the big end bolts come from BMW, but should be here either today or tomorrow, and then we can crack on. Well, once again, guys, thanks ever so much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified whenever we put up a video. But thank you very much for watching. Have a great weekend. Please stick down in the comments what you think about today's video and the Golf Saga. Be interesting to see what you think and your opinion. But until Monday, guys, have a great weekend. Cheers.